Imagine if you realized that every challenge, every success, and every relationship in your life was not a matter of chance. That even before you were born, you selected your family, your soulmate, and the obstacles you face today. And here is the key point. There is a way to break free from this cycle. The cycle of reincarnation, also known as the Wheel of Life, is explained in many spiritual and hermetic traditions. It represents the path a soul takes through multiple lifetimes, with each life giving a chance to improve, learn, and settle past karmic marks. Many mystical teachings state that this process fits into a larger plan for developing awareness and fulfilling a divine purpose. Traditions such as Hermetic, Hindu, Buddhist, and mystical Christianity all agree that reincarnation involves free will balanced by karma. Karma ties the soul to particular lessons, while still allowing it to choose its own spiritual course. The physical world, described in spiritual texts as complex and layered, offers the soul an opportunity to refine its inner divine qualities, motivated by an infinite calling. The soul takes on a physical existence to encounter opposites like light and dark, pleasure and pain, and to eventually overcome the deceptions of material life. Both free will and karma are essential to a soul's progress. Hermetic philosophy teaches that the soul helps create its own reality, influenced by the effects of past actions. In this view, karma acts as a teacher rather than a punisher, ensuring that every act brings consequences meant to promote improvement and balance. Deciding on a specific life is a cooperative process that involves the soul, its spiritual advisors, and universal intelligence. During the period between lives, the soul reviews past actions, checks its progress, and sets new goals. Although these advisors offer valuable advice, the final decision rests with the soul, reflecting principles of accountability and self-governance. Before you took your first breath, your soul existed in a state beyond time and physical form, a condition where decisions were made, agreements were formed, and destinies were set in motion. Picture yourself before a group of wise ancient guides, reviewing every possible path your life could take. In that moment, you did not randomly select a life. You chose your challenges, your deepest loves, and even those who might cause you pain. Because every experience is designed to teach lessons you could not learn elsewhere. Here is an interesting point. Your soul did not make these choices alone. There are long-standing karmic bonds and agreements that connect you with others. Even meeting your soulmate was not a coincidence. That person has likely accompanied you through many past lives, each time in a different role. Before entering the physical world, the soul exists in a state of pure awareness, closely linked to the creative source often called the divine, God, or universal mind. In this timeless state of unity, the soul does not experience separation or limitation. Still, even in this happy condition, the soul has a natural urge to grow, to experience, and to learn. This strong desire drives the soul to take on a physical form, where obstacles and chances for progress are plentiful. The decision to be born into physical life comes from a wish for self-discovery and improvement. The physical world acts like a school, offering experiences such as emotions, relationships, and challenges that could not occur in the soul's original state. Every soul has its own purpose that involves learning specific lessons, like compassion, forgiveness, self-respect, or courage, which refine the soul and bring it closer to its divine core, while supporting the evolution of awareness. This purpose is not linked to material success, but to personal growth and carrying out a role in a larger universal plan. Before its first physical life, the soul thoughtfully picks conditions that match its purpose and the lessons it must learn. It chooses physical characteristics, such as genetic factors, abilities, and even possible health issues, that are intentionally selected to support its progress. Family acts as the foundation for early experiences, offering both obstacles and support that teach essential lessons. For example, if a soul needs to learn patience, it might choose a family situation that is more challenging. The cultural, social, and historical context of your birth also influences the experiences and opportunities available for progress. The soul determines the types of people it will meet, whether close companions, mentors, or challengers, who play key roles in its development. These decisions form a basic plan, and the first physical life is mainly about learning to survive and understanding the material world. Over time, the soul learns to balance the physical and spiritual aspects of itself. The material life stands in sharp contrast to the soul's original condition. When the soul is born, it feels separated from its divine source, creating a sense of duality and isolation. This separation may cause confusion, fear, or an intense longing for a connection with the divine, a feeling sometimes described as homesickness for the divine. Furthermore, the soul must adjust to physical limits like time, space, and human emotions, which are important for its progress. Even in its first life, the soul is not alone. Spiritual guides, beings of light, or higher forms of consciousness accompany it, offering advice and support. Although these guides give gentle help and direction through the physical world, the soul always has the freedom to follow or disregard their advice. The soul also keeps a strong link to its divine origin, which appears as gut feelings, dreams, or moments of clear understanding that remind it of a greater purpose. Now, here is an even more interesting point. What happens after this life? How does the soul choose its next course, and when does it decide? Is it possible to escape this cycle completely? First, let's discuss the choices the soul makes after death. After the physical body dies, the soul moves into a state between lives, a condition of pure awareness that is free from the limits of physical existence. In this state, the soul reviews its past life, reconnects with its spiritual mentors, and starts preparing for its next physical experience. This condition is not about reward or punishment. Instead, it is a space for studying, improvement, and planning. A major part of this phase is the life assessment, during which the soul examines its past life from a broader, more objective point of view. The soul goes over its actions, thoughts, and decisions, feeling the emotional effects they had on others. This review serves as a learning process, helping the soul understand the outcomes of its behavior and recognize areas where progress was made and where more lessons are needed, setting the stage for what comes next. Karma plays an important role in shaping the path of the soul. Rather than serving as a system of punishment, karma is about maintaining balance, teaching lessons, and encouraging growth. Every action, thought, and emotion sends out energy that eventually returns to the soul. For example, if a soul causes harm, it may experience a similar situation in its next life to learn empathy and understanding. Likewise, acts of kindness or generosity can lead to positive opportunities and experiences in later lives. The soul also makes agreements with other souls regarding relationships and interactions in the next life. These agreements outline important connections, such as family roles, romantic partnerships, or challenging associations, each intended to teach specific lessons. For instance, a soul might choose a particular family setting to learn patience or selfless love, while two souls may decide to meet as partners to learn about trust and closeness. Similarly, difficult relationships, such as those with a competitor or a demanding parent, may be arranged to build forgiveness or resilience. These agreements remain flexible, allowing adjustments according to the soul's free choice. Throughout life, souls often enter the world as part of groups of closely connected souls that develop together over many lifetimes. These groups provide mutual support and growth, with members appearing in roles such as family, friends, teachers, or even opponents, depending on the lessons required. In some cases, souls form especially strong bonds, like soulmates who help each other fulfill common purposes, or twin flames, which are two halves of one whole seeking balance and unity. After the life review and a check of karmic results, the soul begins a deliberate process to plan its next physical experience. This process involves several important decisions. The soul picks physical traits such as gender, appearance, and even possible health issues, all chosen to support its purpose and progress. It also selects a family situation that will provide the necessary lessons and support. For example, a caring family might boost self-esteem, while a more challenging one could build resilience and strength. Additionally, the soul chooses larger factors, such as social status, cultural background, and the historical period, that will affect the obstacles and opportunities it encounters. Certain major events, like meeting influential people, facing life-changing challenges, or reaching key milestones, are prearranged to guide the soul's development. However, the soul still has the freedom to adjust to different circumstances. Even though much of the next life is set in advance, the soul's free choice allows it to react to events in its own way. If a soul manages to avoid a planned challenge, new chances may emerge to ensure that it still learns the necessary lesson. The universe continuously works to support the soul's progress, providing creative ways to meet its spiritual objectives. Once planning is complete, the soul prepares for reincarnation. This process involves crossing a boundary that separates the spiritual from the physical, which causes the soul to forget its previous lives and pre-birth plans. This loss of memory makes the experiences in the physical world feel genuine and spontaneous, even though subtle reminders of the soul's purpose continue to appear as instincts, dreams, or a strong inner call. Throughout life, these inner signals and the influence of its spiritual mentors, who remain a constant source of support and wisdom, guide the soul. Think of reincarnation as a place of learning, where every lifetime acts as a classroom in which you learn lessons, settle karmic obligations, and grow. However, until you master certain lessons, you will keep returning. What determines your next family and future challenges depends on the energy you have carried from before, the karma you have accumulated, and the agreements you have yet to fulfill. Attaining freedom from the cycle of reincarnation does not mean avoiding life altogether. It means rising above the deceptions and limits of the physical world. This state lets the soul exist in harmony with its divine source, experiencing unity, peace, and limitless creativity. Known by names such as enlightenment, moi, or ascension, this condition is honored in many spiritual traditions. Becoming enlightened does not mean that the soul loses its unique identity or stops existing. Instead, the soul becomes fully aware of its divine nature by shedding layers of illusion that create separation. In this state, the soul can choose either to remain in higher levels of existence or return to the physical world as a guide or teacher. Freedom from karmic obligations is achieved gradually through a process of spiritual awakening and mastery. This process requires the soul to let go of attachments, resolve karmic issues, and accept universal truths. It all begins with developing self-awareness. The soul must identify its habits, desires, and fears, and understand how these connect it to the physical world. Practices such as meditation, mindfulness, and self-reflection help the soul observe its thoughts and feelings without getting caught up in them. Inner work often involves dealing with unresolved karmic issues and healing wounds from past lives by forgiving others, asking for forgiveness, and releasing resentment. In doing so, the soul breaks free from the energetic bonds that keep it trapped in the cycle of reincarnation. Attachments to people, possessions, and outcomes tie the soul to the material world. The Hermetic principle of mentalism teaches that thought shapes reality. When the soul clings to material desires or fears, it deepens its connection to the cycle of reincarnation. Detachment does not mean giving up love or responsibility. It means living fully without depending on external circumstances for happiness. A soul that practices detachment can love deeply, work with passion, and appreciate life's beauty while remaining independent of specific outcomes. Attaining freedom requires living in harmony with the universal laws that govern existence. These laws include understanding that every action creates ripples affecting the soul's path, recognizing that all things are connected, and acting in ways that honor this unity. By raising one's level through thoughts, emotions, and actions that resonate with love, truth, and harmony, the soul becomes an active partner with the divine, overcoming physical limits. The final step toward freedom is realizing that everything in the physical world is one. When the soul stops seeing itself as separate from others and the divine, that awareness dissolves the sense of isolation and allows the soul to recognize itself as part of an endless whole. This state of awakening often comes about through advanced spiritual practices such as meditation, prayer, or mystical experiences. It can also happen unexpectedly, triggered by intense love, loss, or moments of clear understanding. The soul attains freedom when it has learned the lessons it set out to learn during its time in the physical world. This achievement is determined not by outside factors, but by the soul's own readiness to rise above. Signs that a soul is nearing freedom include a reduced concern for material success or failure, a strong sense of inner peace regardless of external events, and a deep, steady love and care for all beings. There is also a desire to return to the divine source, or to serve others without selfish motives. At that point, the soul chooses its next step. Some souls advance to higher levels of existence, where they work and create in more refined conditions. Others choose to be born again, not out of necessity, but to serve as enlightened guides or teachers who help others along their way. Throughout history, figures such as Buddha, Jesus, and other spiritual masters have returned to physical life. Unlike ordinary souls, they do so not because of karmic obligation, but to help lift humanity. These individuals, sometimes called bodhisattvas or avatars, remind us of what a soul can achieve in its quest for freedom. Hermetic teachings describe these figures as representing the highest qualities of wisdom, love, and strength, and they serve as connections between the physical and spiritual areas. They provide direction, motivation, and support to those who remain in the cycle of reincarnation. By studying these enlightened figures, souls can gain both encouragement and a plan for their own path toward freedom. If you are ready to understand more about these topics, join me as we look into these mysteries together. Please subscribe now